미국과 중국의 갈등이 갈수록 심해지고 있습니다. 화웨이에 이어 이번엔 홍콩입니다. 중국이 홍콩에 국가보안법을 적용하면 그동안 홍콩에 주어졌던 투자, 무역 등의 혜택을 없애겠다고 미국이 경고했습니다. 혜택이 사라지면 홍콩은 국제금융 허브의 역할을 하지 못하게 됩니다. 중국은 내정 간섭이라며 모든 수단을 동원하겠다고 맞섰습니다.
The US has no right to criticize or interfere. If the US is bent on harming China's interests, China will have to take all necessary measures to fight back.
2018년 무역 전쟁 이후 잠잠했던 미국과 중국의 갈등은 코로나 바이러스 책임론이 불거지면서 다시 격화됐습니다. 상황이 심각해지면서 진짜 전쟁이 벌어질 수 있다는 우려까지 나오는데요. 특히 북한의 핵실험이 전쟁의 도화선으로 지목됩니다.
If he goes back to testing ICBMs between now and the election, which he was on the verge of doing before he stopped in the end of 2017, Trump will almost certainly attack the launch pads in North Korea from which the tests will be conducted. And if that happens, there's a good prospect of a second Korean War, crazy as that seems. And we should remember that in the first Korean War, it was Americans and Chinese that did most of the killing of each other.
미국과 중국의 갈등, 미국 경제에도 큰 타격을 줍니다. 화웨이는 미국이 핵심 반도체 수급을 막자 미국의 수십만 일자리가 사라질 수 있다고 경고했습니다.
We can resolve these issues, and we should try to do it now rather than waiting 30 or 40 years from now and having huge economic impact on the United States as a result. It's unnecessary.
Well, let me ask you, you just said it's going to have a huge economic effect on the United States. How are you seeing that effect?
Well, the first part of it is you look at the entity list, the restrictions on the ability of, now it's about 150 American companies to sell to Huawei, and that will be exacerbated by this new foreign product rule. So we can't see the exact numbers, but the estimates using econometric models is that when you talk about the $12 billion a year on average that we buy from American companies, that translates to 40 or 50,000 American jobs. Last year we spent a lot more, about 18 billion.
이런 경고에도 중국에 대한 미국의 공세는 계속될 가능성이 많습니다. 미국 안의 반중정서가 강하기 때문입니다.
Big Wall Street economists say if we completely decoupled and separated from China, it would cause a 2.5% to 3% of GDP hit on the United States. And the way that I look at China is they steal 2 to 3% of GDP of intellectual property from our companies every single year, according to the U.S. Defense Department and the White House. And they earn profits on that theft. So I just don't understand why we interface with a strategic competitor or enemy. I believe Chinese economics might is somewhat of a paper tiger. They claim to be 15% of global GDP, and yet less than 1% of global cross-border transactions settle in their own currency. They have a closed capital account. No one takes their currency as legal tender. And so China is only as strong as the West says they are. And so it's my view that the West holds all the cards here. And what we need to do is get China to play by the global rules. They play by they dance to the beat of their own drum, and they don't care about laws. They don't care about lying. They don't care about cheating. They don't care about stealing. Anything to move the Chinese agenda forward.
The household demand, especially on the services consumption, will continue to be lagging. So overall, I do not think that the policy will be strong enough to bring China back to so-called pre-coronavirus period of the demand level. I think inevitably unemployment rate is going up because the first quarter we have seen some unemployment in the services sector like the other part of the world. But I think that in the second quarter we are definitely going to see a plunge in the Chinese export growth, which will actually lead to some mass manufacturing sector layoffs. And then put these two together, services sector and manufacturing sector, so no doubt China will have a higher unemployment rate.
미중 갈등 격화, 세계 경제에 큰 충격을 줄 수 있습니다. 코로나 바이러스 확산 때보다 금융시장이 받는 충격이 더 클 것이란 분석도 나오고 있습니다. 다만 정치적인 긴장 관계와 별개로 경제 협력은 계속될 것이란 낙관적인 전망도 있습니다.
Tells you that despite all this bluster by the politicians, company to company level ties remain super duper strong. I think a lot of these companies look at this situation and they'll think twice again about expanding their businesses with China. They will want to diversify, not just because of political bluster, but also, if touch wood, another kind of cluster happens again in China,